In today's video, I will be talking about some tips and advice for PC flipping in the lead up to the Christmas period. So, as we know, guys, this kind of build up to the Christmas period and where we are up to about Christmas now. I'm recording this in about middle of November, and we're going to have about a month or so of rush now. I would say certainly once it gets to sort of Black Friday time and that last weekend of November, right up to then Christmas, I think it's all going to go a bit crazy. So this is just kind of a little bit of a video just before all that craziness happens, just to give you some tips and advice if you are a PC flipper, basically, in terms of maybe someone just sharing a little bit of experience that they've kind of had. I've had one Christmas season before this, obviously, which was last Christmas, where I was doing PC flipping as well. So it's just maybe for maybe newbies or even more experienced people, just to give some tips and advice that I've probably learned over the time. So I've got my phone here with the free tips that I've kind of put on, but I'll add a bit more to it as we go along, and I'll just talk about it. The first one is be patient, and I think that's probably the biggest tip I would say overall. And really, when you're PC flipping, that's probably the biggest tip I could probably say anyway. Just in general, is be patient. But yeah, I certainly think getting towards the Christmas period, it is it's about being patient, but at the same time being very responsive when something happens and being very quick if something like a deal comes up or what have you. So it's being patient in terms of waiting for those sales to come in, waiting for those messages to come in, waiting for customers to potentially come along. Obviously, right now we're kind of in the middle of November, so people are probably waiting for that payday before they really start to buy their Christmas presents and Christmas stuff. So we're still a little bit off. Depending when you see this video, it's obviously going to be different. If we're more into sort of December or getting towards end of December, that's going to be totally different. So, but this is advice for sort of middle of November, in the build up to Christmas, like I say. So really, like I say, just be patient, wait for customers to come along. I wouldn't start dropping prices too early. I think right now it's too early to be dropping prices. If anything, I'd be trying to hold up that price and say, look, this is what I want for it. Lowball offers are going to get rejected. I mean, obviously, if you get an offer which is near enough to what you want, then obviously, if you want the sale, go for it and take it. And if you're happy with everything, then fine. Do what's best for you, obviously. But I think really, if you can, try and be as patient as you can. Try and wait for the top price, your top price which you want, or at least very near to your top price that you want before you sell it. Because you have to remember as well, it's a bit of a different way of looking at things. But once you sell it, you sell it. If you know what I mean. This is maybe I'm going a bit weird here, but once you've sold your PC, you've sold your PC, and you obviously can't get any more for it because you've sold it. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. So in theory, if you feel like you've maybe could have got another £50 or even £100 or what have you, I know in one way a quick flip is a quick flip and money is money, and it's good in one way, but in another way, you kind of might have a bit of remorse afterwards, after a week or two, thinking, maybe if I'd have just held out for a little bit further down the road into the Christmas period, I might have been able to get a bit more. Now, obviously, everyone's situation's different, and obviously your financial situation will determine that as well. But just if you can, try and be patient. And I mean, right now, for me personally, I've only got two PCs listed, which for me is very low, and I am waiting on quite a lot of parts to come in, and that's why I'm kind of doing, if I'm being honest, a little bit of a filler video, because I just don't have the parts right now to actually record stuff and what have you. So that is a bit annoying that I'm waiting for stuff. But yeah, I've got two PCs, but I am going to try and be patient. I'm going to try and obviously use my own advice. Do what I say, don't do what I do, or something like that. Anyway, that's what the phrase is. But anyway, but no, I'm gonna do what I say, and then I'm going to try and keep prices where they are. Not going to drop them. Just going to try and keep high. I certainly think, like I say, towards that sort of very near Christmas period, in that sort of last week of November right up to Christmas, I think that's when it's all just going to go mad, and I think people will just buy up pretty much, and obviously if you're overpricing stuff and it's just too much, people won't buy. But in general, what's going to happen, at least in my opinion, this is what's going to happen, is that supply is going to decrease because obviously people are going to buy them up. Demand is obviously going to increase, so we move into a more of a selling market rather than a buying market, because pretty much throughout the whole year up to now, it has been a buying market because people just will ball you everywhere, and as a seller, it's difficult to make profit, because it's tough competition out there, and other sellers will obviously compete against you as well. So you've got to think about that, and obviously buyers want the best price they possibly can get for for what they're buying. So it's tough, but obviously right now it kind of moves a little bit in favour of the seller. So just be aware of that. So try and hold your price. I think that's the biggest thing I'd say there. So the second point is kind of what I've already said, but it's stick to your price. Set your price and stick to it basically. And yeah, like I say, I've kind of gone over this already in the first point, but I would say stick your price as potentially as high as what you feel like you could go for it. Maybe even £50. Set it £50 more than you even think you can get for it. Maybe so if you think you can get 350, maybe set it at 400. And just kind of sit there and just try and hold out for that high price if you can. Obviously, if someone comes along and says, "I'll buy it for 350 off you, mate," and then you kind of wanted 350, then obviously just sell it and all good and move it along. But if someone comes along and says 300, I would just turn them away and say, "Look, no, I want at least 375," and then or what have you, or maybe just go for 350, and then. But I do find with that negotiation side as well, for another tip here, try and not come down too quickly on your price. If someone says, if you've got it listed at £400 and they come in with a £300 offer, try and say 375 rather than go right down to 350, because then they're going to go, "Ooh, maybe I can squeeze 325 out of them, or maybe I can squeeze 320 out of them," and then you're just kind of putting yourself up for a bit of failure there. So if you try and come down in a very small increment, and then like last week with this actually happened to me on over last weekend, where I had a PC up for £400. They came in with an offer of £300. I said, "Look, I'll go 375 is my lowest. Can you meet me there?" They took some time over it, and I didn't think they were going to come back, but they eventually came back about an hour later, and they said, "I'll go 350 if you do that." And then I thought I could maybe try and push them to 375, but I thought, sod it, let's just get the sale through, and then 350, because 350 is what I wanted anyway for the PC. So I was happy enough just to let it go, and then get the sale through. Which you have to be a little bit, you can't be absolute. I have to have my absolute price, and I won't go lower, because this is Facebook Marketplace, and there is a little bit of negotiation there, and what have you. But obviously, if people are going totally lowball, like the other day, I had a lowball offer. I had one PC up for £250, which is just a very budget, a very it's like a third gen i5 kind of bit of a. If I'm honest, it's not a very good build, but it was just kind of a very budget build that I put together just to kind of shift on, and it was basically some spare parts that I had. I've just tried to make a spare parts build and try and get a little bit of money for it. I put it up for 250, which probably is a bit high. I'm probably only going to get about £200 for it, I reckon, if I'm honest. But someone came in with an offer of £100, and I was just like, "No, I'm really sorry. That's just far too low." Maybe if they'd have come back and said, 150, I might have started being reasonable and saying maybe I can offer you 225 or what have you, and try and work it from there. But they haven't come back to me since after that, so I'm not gonna we're not gonna go there. We're certainly not going to take under half price for our PC. That's certainly something you can't do. And the third one really, which is probably again this is probably the main point actually as well, although obviously the setting your price is obviously the main point that I was kind of going with, which is manage cash flow really. And I think cash flow right now is the big key in the lead up to Christmas, because what you want is obviously as many PCs as you can, to list as many PCs as you can in that lead up time. So we've probably, like I say, we've probably got about in the next week or two before it really starts to kick in. At least I'm hoping anyway. You don't know. I mean, the Christmas period might be a bit of a damp one again because obviously, financially for a lot of people, it is getting tougher and tougher out there, and PCs might be something that people do gloss over a little bit more, that rather than spend the money. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I do think in the lead up to Christmas it will pick up, and I do think there'll be more and more people looking for PCs. So overall, I would say try and get as many PCs out there as you can, but obviously be mindful of your cash flow. I'll talk about a story which I had probably about 3 months ago or so. I actually got to the point where I listed 5 PCs, which is actually quite a lot for me, and that to actually have 5 PCs up without a sale, that was actually quite difficult to manage because I didn't get a sale for about 3 weeks or so, which for me is actually quite rare. I usually flip PCs pretty quickly because obviously I'm buying at such a generally I'm buying quite at a low price, or sometimes I will pay up a little bit for stuff if I feel it's worth it, but at the same time I am trying to get the absolute lowest price I possibly can when I'm buying stuff, so that when I sell on, I'm kind of still going a little bit below what that sort of eBay price is online. So if I'm buying a PC for 200 and I'm trying to sell it for like 350, the parts might be worth about 400 anyway. So I'm still kind of going below that sort of eBay price. So I'm still kind of undercutting them. I'm still kind of undercutting those other sellers that are selling on eBay and what have you. Obviously, those sort of deals don't come up very much. So you have to be a little bit resourceful as well. You have to, now and again, you will have to pay up for things. And as I'm kind of buying parts individually at the moment, I do find with the graphics cards, I am having to pay up a little bit for them now, because the graphics card bargains just aren't coming up as regularly as what they should do. Obviously, more and more people know that more and more people are buying right now, so they're setting their price. Even regular, everyday casual sellers, they're setting their price higher and higher now. Obviously, eBay have done their free listings as well. eBay have done their free personal listings, so obviously they don't charge you if you're if you're a personal seller with a personal account. They don't charge you fees now for selling on eBay, so that's attracting more people to eBay as well now. So that's something that you've got to think about as well. Now you can get the odd bargain here and there, and I still have got the odd bargain here and there off eBay. The other day I got a GTX 1060 3GB version for £40 off eBay, which is actually a pretty decent price for a 1060 3GB, so I was happy about that. And that came down, it was actually in very clean condition and it actually worked perfectly, so good win there. But then on other times, you are even with local sellers now, I am generally having to pay up a little bit more for the graphics cards and stuff if I do buy them locally. For instance, I bought a 1070 Ti, GTX 1070 Ti, for £75 about a week ago, and I have flipped that PC. That was the PC I flipped for £350, which maybe I maybe probably could have held out for £400. But it's one of those. It's a cash flow thing. Like I say, sometimes you do just have to sell on and accept that you've maybe not got your full price, and accept the sale to actually keep the cash flow going. But at the same time, it's balancing act really. Try not to do that with too many PCs, or try not to do that too many times. If you absolutely need the money, sell up and obviously move your PC on. But if you can, this is where a high cash flow or high capital amount that you have in the bank is really going to help you during this time, because you can buy up 4 or 5 PCs, get them listed, and literally sit on it. If you can sit on it for the next month or so, you're going to be golden, because by the time prices really start to ramp up, you're going to be the one with all the components, with all the PCs built, and they have, the buyers have to come to you, because there isn't going to be that many. Obviously, there's a lot of computers going to be listed around now and up to Christmas, but if you can be the one with the best prices, and the best looking PCs, and if you can basically be best in class, then you're going to get the money, you're going to get the sales. So that's my advice. Obviously, as well, like I say, try and build the PCs as professionally as you can. Try and make them look as good as you can. Try and make a good effort on the cable management side. Try and take very good professional photos when you're doing the listing. Try and put the listing, make the listings as appealing as you can. Try and sort of say, potentially if you want to, maybe offer some kind of warranty as well. Again, you don't have to, but that might be a little bit of extra peace of mind for the buyer. Um, just keep it as professional as you can, because that's how you're going to demand the higher price. Because casual sellers are just going to sell on for what they can, and they're not going to help out the buyer if anything goes wrong. So some people might like that peace of mind that you're a professional seller who they know that they're going to get it when they pay you the money. They know they're going to get the PC which they've paid for, and it's going to be perfectly working, and you're going to help them if anything comes up or if any issues come up. So there's that to think of as well. But like I say with the managed cash flow thing, just be sensible. Don't be buying like 10 odd PCs, and if you haven't got the money, if they're not selling and you haven't got the money, then don't be putting loads and loads of money into it when it's not worth it. I would say personally, for me personally, I think 5 PCs is the most that I list at one time. I don't like to go above that, because I find it, really with 5 PCs, if you've got 5 PCs listed and you're not getting it anywhere, you're not even getting messengers and stuff, then you've probably just got them too highly priced, or the components that you've used are just not in any kind of demand. And it's one of those. I mean, really, with 5 PCs listed, you should be getting interest, at least some interest. So that's kind of what I do anyway. And like I say, at the moment I've only got 2, so I'm hoping to get 4 certainly by the end of next week, before it starts to kind of really ramp up once people get paid at the end of their payday. And also as well, some people will get paid sort of in the middle of December. You've got to realise as well. So they'll get that early paycheck. So that will help for sales as well. So I certainly think last week in November up to, like I say, right up to Christmas, it's going to be pretty busy. Now, if you are a more experienced seller than even I am, then please let me know below in the comments any more further tips that you have for people who want to PC flip in the lead up to Christmas. And these tips again are more aimed towards the UK market, because I don't really have, obviously I'm not in the USA, I don't really have that experience with the USA market. It is kind of the same market, but I do think the prices that people get in the USA are far more than what you can in the UK. So it's probably more aimed towards the UK market, this advice. But yeah, if you are more experienced, then please, if you could leave a comment and say, maybe like one tip that you think that you could add on to these free tips that I've kind of given, that would really help as well. I mean, I think generally, like I say, manage your cash flow, set your prices high, and obviously if you can, buy as cheap as you can as well. I know that kind of makes logical sense, and it seems obvious, but a lot of the time, sometimes even I struggle to totally stick to those rules. So it's up to you to try and manage that as best as you can. But overall, I think I probably waffled on a bit too much again. There will be more regular content coming out. I have got a case coming down, which probably is not going to come till Monday, unfortunately, but I will try and get that out by Tuesday or Wednesday next week for you guys. So there'll be a PC case coming. Like I said, it's a micro ATX white case, because we're going to do a white build, so that's going to be quite exciting. I think the white build will look really good, and I've wanted to do a white build for a while, so that'll be good. Then the PC build will come after that video as well of that case. So yeah, looking forward to the content coming up. Hopefully I can start putting, as we get more and more towards Christmas, I'll try and do more content if I can. But again, I've got to prioritise the business side of this, and I've got to prioritise my PC flipping side, because that's where the money is, and YouTube unfortunately doesn't make me any money, so I've got to think about that side. But yeah, overall I hope you do like the video. Please leave a like if you did. Like I say, leave a comment if you can, and please subscribe to see my future videos. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.